Okay. YouTube audio should be working. Chat's up. And hey, Gordon. What's up, Popcorn? How you doing, dude? Good evening. Jeffresh is walking back his crash takes. Have you guys seen Futures Overnight yet? Jfresh was somehow both simultaneously wrong and right this time. Futures bounced. We bounced like to the penny off the prior support from the October trade restriction drop. Although it's kind of a shitty bounce so far. Was Dork just gonna talk in SPX chat or get his ass in here? Super green. All right, let me get the screen share up and running. Hmm. So if you guys have a question about Gammastrike, feel free to raise your hand. Ah, there we go. JFresh requesting to speak despite having mod permissions.
Dude, I still can't figure it out. The only way I know how to do it is to request to speak and then give myself permission to join the stage.
You just get on the stage. You have to click the other button that says join stage.
That sounds way too complicated. I don't understand anything you just said.
Well, here we are.
Here we are.
Waiting on Dork.
Yeah, he's getting a burrito.
He's probably listening to us talk about him right now.
Probably. Sick fuck. Yeah, so in case so is this officially it? Officially what?
Does GS say
The like
crash?
25th. Oh, the like it as in like the crash. I don't know. I mean, the conditions look nice, but at the same time it's like what is I'm so okay, so obviously this is not what this is about. This roundtable is about, but I'll entertain it for a second. I am interested to see what kind of effort is put into a rebound tomorrow. Uh because the market did such a dipperoonie today that nobody was really anticipating. That I have to imagine that there's some margin calls that have to be met tonight, and I think a lot of me kind of looking at, hey, this might be it, has been, the forward indication from Bitcoin collapsing, which is like the easiest. Bitcoin isn't real, it has no value. So it's the first thing that you would naturally want to sell if you needed to sustain, your self value, right? You sell the thing that has zero value. And this has been a leading indicator for quite some time. Um, For me, kind of for my own positioning, as long as Bitcoin still looks like shit, I keep pressing. That's basically where I'm at. It's not very scientific.
How the fuck do I share?
This might be a great time to just pull up Ibit. I haven't looked at
Aha!
Ibit in a while.
There we go. Ibit?
Yeah. Let's pull that bitch up. See what the total delta is on that bad boy. Oh yeah. Nice steady decline. Anytime you see, so if you go to like Ibit on Greeks, anytime you see just a nice steady decline, I mean that's usually a bad sign. So over the long term, interest in an instrument makes the price go up. So if somebody's like, if there's, for example, at the peak, at the tippy top, Ibit was trading almost around 20 billions in delta uh, on the options chain. That has since gone down to,
Yep.
12. Not quite half, but pretty close. And so, like,
It's at
anytime you
11
see,
right
like,
now.
yeah, anytime you see a long-term decline like that, that's usually a pretty bad sign. There are some exceptions. If you go and look at like Tesla and some of the, there was some craziness in 2021 that I think we actually haven't quite duplicated because people, all the people that went crazy in 2021 don't have any money now. So it's different people with different behaviors. But the anytime you see just naive delta going down on something, it's usually not a great sign because it just means total interest in it is going down, and if interest goes down, value goes down. So yeah, I'm not, and a lot of people are actually looking at this wondering sort of how systemic this could be because I don't know, people weren't following it too much when it was going up, but a lot of these like mining companies and other places, they're all starting like strategic Bitcoin reserves to mirror strategy, which is now basically fucked at this point.
I'm glad they started all of those strategic Bitcoin reserves with BTC at 140K.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's the thing. Not only did they start those strategic Bitcoin reserves, but part of the strategy, the strategery, if you will, was to use that as collateral for loans
of
in the
course.
real world.
Does CoreWeave have any Bitcoin?
I wouldn't be fucking surprised. Tesla has
They got to
a
use all
lot of
that
Bitcoin,
compute for
actually.
something, right?
And so this is kind of becoming, I think, the question of the day is, how much is this going to bleed over into the real world because so many people took all this worthless Bitcoin and use and collateralized real loans with real dollars with it. Of course, GameStop bought the top. Why wouldn't they? Has Ryan Cohen had a good idea since he posted a picture of a toilet online?
He posted a picture of the gate at Auschwitz, which says like "work will
That's
set you free." It's very
by
classy,
murdering you,
apparently.
by literally killing you.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, cool.
yeah. Well, he's all about promoting his alpha male work ethic. So
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. So like,
So he thought
yeah.
that
So
was
the idea is
edgy.
you walk into the gates of your own accord and you gas yourself to death for the glory.
Maybe it was
I don't know. I'm.
probably
I'll be honest. I don't
poorly
think I'm
thought
getting
out.
it.
Here's the
Yeah.
question I have: why have we made all of these cringe edge lord billionaires? Well, cringe edge lords. Why have we made them billionaires? What
Um,
about that personality type?
because if they can do it, and the easier it becomes to make these morons able to do it, the more likely it is that it will happen to us. Just a theory. I don't
Ayn
know.
Rand. Fuck you, need to.
Oh yeah, looking at strategy, holy fucking shit. Yeah, no wonder. Yeah, so you can see that their delta exposure is down to like 13 billion, which is where it was like before the election.
No, roughly.
Yeah.
They
And
peaked
which
at
is
about
where their
37.
price is. Yeah. So you can see that people are just fucking getting out.
Yep.
There's a mass exodus.
All of those shorts on those collateralized loans finally paying money.
Yeah. All the people who are long the collateralized loans and short the collateralized loans are trying to just break even. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure
Let me
they had
see
an
what the
edge on the
bond.
short because of the likelihood of failure, but
Hopefully, you'd think. All right, so let's see. So, but here's the thing: if you look at if you look at the actual outflows from the real losers of this Bitcoin story, the people who have access to resources and who understand all of these more complex instruments, they're getting the fuck out. You know who's not getting out at all in any size is the people who invested in the ETFs. They are bag holding hard. They haven't sold anything. Hardly anything. We're talking about we're going from 1.35 million Bitcoin in the ETFs to 1.32 billion Bitcoin in the ETFs. Fucking nothing. They are gonna bag hold to zero, I guess. Now the flip side of that is if they're willing to hold on for forever, then maybe it bounces back hard AF, right? Which is kind of why I'm looking at. I think all eyes on Bitcoin is not a terrible strategy to kind of look at how we think that the markets are going to do intraday.
It's just dollars, man.
Hey man, dollars are up, aren't they?
Yeah, but
There's over 100.
it's just a risk asset getting sold, same as equities. It's not. I almost guarantee
Yeah,
there's
but
no correlation there, or at least no statistically relevant correlation.
how dare you?
Well, it's a
You
stupid
might be right.
idea. Stop. You come in here with your FinTwit stuff, you know.
No, we peaked October 6th was when Bitcoin peaked, and it's been basically going straight down since then.
That's because it's worthless.
Sure, but then you look at the index didn't start going down till October 28th. Well, really November. So it definitely signaled this, and it's one of the reasons why I decided to go short to begin with. It's because it kept going down and didn't recover. It wasn't just normal volatility.
Hmm.
Something's going on there.
Why is that not scaling properly? That's annoying. Just look at this here.
What are you trying to do? You're trying to do math. Gross. What is this? What are you doing?
I'm trying to get this to work, but it won't.
Double click the axis.
Nah.
You got to make it. Are you trying to just get it to line up?
I'm just going back to, I mean, like, if I go, I think it's the time frame I'm on, but if I go back too far, it like
Yeah, I'm not sure
flattens
what
the
you're trying to
Dixie
do,
out.
but if you're trying to
There's a spread between like NQ or Dixie, you can pick either one, and Bitcoin. And anytime like leverage in the market is high, Bitcoin will start to push up while the other asset remains flat or relatively flat compared to Bitcoin. This has gone on for a long time because it's used as leverage in the market, right?
well, sure, yeah. But doesn't that just reinforce what I'm saying? Is that if Bitcoin collapses, you can't lever your longs?
I mean, you can. It's just a small pocket of like a very highly leveraged instrument, but like the total value of the crypto market is tiny compared to derivatives or something like that.
What's 1 trillion between friends?
Yeah. I mean, what derivatives are what? Like 300 quadrillion? So,
Yeah, but most of those are not daily market making derivatives.
true. But they're spicy now.
I'm not telling you anything. Also, Carl, where's my fucking money? You won't respond to me. I sent you the receipts.
Carl can't send you. I have to send you the money. But Carl
I
hasn't
know.
given me the receipts.
Right. I sent him all the receipts, and I expect him to be like, hey, I got the receipts.
He did that.
He's not bullshitting. Oh,
Yeah. But
well.
then I told him send me the receipts.
Oh, because you don't believe me.
No, I just need everything in duplicate. It's just standard practice.
Well, I'll just start cutting our CFO out of financial discussions from now on, I guess.
No, he needs a copy too.
Anyway, I brought that up because we have to pay even more money for fundamental analysis, and we have to, yeah. There's nothing to talk about, need to, in terms of like what features we're cooking. We know what we want to build. We just have to get the data and then build it.
I mean, we could talk a little bit about it, or at least what the roadmap is. So
Sure.
we're going to continue to release features for Gammastrike as it is. We have live data features and analysis tools and scanners that we're going to be putting in over time, same as we have been throughout the entire beta. That's not stopping here, right? We're continuously improving what we already have and adding new features there. But we are going to start building out um, more tools focused on swing trading and long term investment. Um, Tools where not only can you analyze stocks via their options markets, but also their earnings, revenues, all of that good stuff, and then assistive tools for that that we plan on building. So not just simply giving you EBIT and ratios and all of that, and I mean giving all of those things, but building on top of that and building valuation models and letting you guys get some insight into how to evaluate these companies or how standard models would evaluate these companies, and that can hopefully give you guys some ideas about what's cheap, what's not, what sectors are performing well, what sectors are underperforming, get an idea about rotation, things like that. So larger, more macro picture alongside, deeper dives into the fundamentals of individual companies.
I'm not looking forward to doing that, but
Oh, it's going to suck, but it's going to be super valuable, especially when we can start playing games with, linearly combining fundamental data with trade data,
We
which is when
gotta,
you really start getting into like the Bloomberg kind of area, but better.
yeah.
But yeah, it's going to take a lot of work to set up that infrastructure correctly because then you start to deal with data sets that don't all have the same like data type, and how do you manage that in a robust and simple way? If we get it right, it'll be really valuable. If we get it wrong, it'll be a huge pain in the dick.
yeah,
To get it
certainly
right.
going to be
I
interesting,
don't understand the
especially once
problem.
we aggregate shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Do all kinds of cool stuff. Um,
Yeah, the key is going to be
and we'll
how can we program it simply so that you get maximum flexibility in how
Did
you
you did
wish to
you
look and
JFresh?
how
Did
you
you
wish
see
to
the
look at it.
what was
JFresh? Did
that?
you see the volatility surface for SPXW?
From tonight? No.
You should look at it.
Are you going to release RTDV2 for everyone before the market crashes? Yes. As a matter of fact, at some point tonight, I will update you on when RTDV2 will be available. Is Geos going to tell us where all the tankers are, like Bloomberg? One day.
You're asking me to look for what here?
And that day is very far away. I'm going to actually have Dork personally go out and put Apple AirTags on every tanker ship.
What the fuck is this shit?
What's what?
Is this real?
What?
That's real. I got a
Well,
screenshot
Gert,
from the Gherkin. I'm putting it in chat.
Have you looked at the volatility service for SPXW?
It's nuts. I'm putting it in chat.
Looks
I'm
beautiful.
putting the big one in chat.
Straight down forever.
Look at the term structure.
It's ridiculous, dude.
Well, we have data tomorrow.
So rocket tomorrow. So I should close all my puts tomorrow.
I want to know who the fuck's buying. I guess they're buying back puts at 45.50. Ooh, that is
What,
wild.
for SPXW?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're just gonna get dislocation.
Look at fucking Skew. Skew is just nosediving. You know what's tripping me out though is that
Still not even close to lows though.
realized vol's not moving at all.
I mean, it's going up steady, but yeah, I mean, Ivy has definitely run away with the realized fall. You've got to look. What does the 10 say? 10's kind of the same story. So that's kind of where I'm. So okay. So this is where I was kind of getting at, like, what does margin look like tomorrow, and how do people respond? Because right now we are sitting. You know, there's a lot of sold puts that are expiring tomorrow that are fucked right now. And if they have to spend a lot of time meeting margin instead of using that dry powder to try to fight what this is,
Vana?
then I think they're gonna have. And if we close, so if we close under like 6,600 tomorrow, I'm kind of in like a lookout below scenario.
Damn. Even 90-day IV, 90-day IV is up to like almost fucking 20.
Yeah, they're losing control, but
Yeah,
they haven't capitulated
quickly.
yet.
No,
But they haven't
no, they haven't.
capitulated. If you look, I mean, you can go to macro.
Yeah, no, we're like
Delta.
Yeah, they're
We're
like
still at all-time
fucking
high deltas. We're just trading call delta for put delta. Nobody's closed shit. So everybody's just kind of crossing their fingers and praying that this bounces, right? But the farther that we go down, and usually how the trend has been for the last, forever now, it's been like down in the morning, bounce hard, go up in the afternoon.
Yeah, well, that's because the overnight move drives up volatility, and then the MMs have to hedge the shift in Vana into market open.
Yeah, but
so that like options basically reprice at market open. But like, yeah, I mean, you're right.
But you also Pavlov people into that. Like, I'm not a fucking genius to notice that. Like everybody notices that's what's happening. And so they position for it, right? And then you look back even to like April and look at the last.
Yeah, but something happened in April one day, right? Like we went down at market open, and then bad news came out right after market open, and so they sold a bunch of fucking puts to bounce everything when the spread maxed out, and then they all got blown up, and then VIX went to like 35 that day, like so. I mean. Yeah, that can happen. It's definitely a risk, especially for you guys like trading the intraday and like piling into the to that like guaranteed bounce off like the implied move or something like that. That's a good way to get wrecked.
I
It's-
will just say this doesn't feel like your grandmother's bounce this time.
Ooh, my
No.
grandmother's bounce. That's hot.
It's yeah. She can bounce. She can bounce it.
Oh,
That's
We're
we got a
going.
request
we're
for
going
someone to speak. Oh,
Bwats.
hold on, B Watts.
Bwats.
Popcorn had a question. He said, here's a legitimate GS question. If I was trying not to day trade options because gambling addiction and be more aligned with long-term holds, but wanting to optimize protecting positioning or positions and long-term entries, how do? Ooh, Dork can explain this.
Oh, nice. I love boring strategies. They're so
Yeah,
cool because they're
Dork,
consistent.
yeah, Dork loves talking about Greek neutrals and how to trade them.
So first thing I want you to do is look at the
Ooh,
Apple
hold
chart.
on. I need to pick a stock that Poopy or Popcorn really likes.
Yeah, actually, Apple is pretty terrible right now. It's just
Yeah,
pinging
hold on. No,
him.
I want to. It's really important that I pick the right stock for him for this example. There we go.
DocuSign.
hmm
Okay, so if you're trying to be a long-term investor and you want to use Gammastrike to figure out whether or not the price, so what you're really doing is you're trying to find out how the equity price is positioned relative to the future expectations for, the equity price. So as a long-term holder, if you had, let's just say you had, now I'm not, gonna make any assumptions here, but if you had, say, $250,000 worth of docu, right, and you're underwater because you bought it all at, I don't know, $107, uh, then you would be able to use Gammastrike to do things like collect yield on your shares while you wait for it to moon. But you could also do things like buy puts to protect it. And what the options market tells you is sort of when you've reached the extent to which the options market and the positioning of the option market has capacity for its prediction. All I'm trying to say is Gamma Max essentially is pretty much, yeah, the extent to which the market has appetite for equity hedging, right, to the upside. After that, the appetite dies off really quickly, and that's why you generally don't tend to see breaches of Gamma Max that last very long, unless it's something stupid where there's barely any options or the move was just unbelievably crazy. So if
Yeah.
you're long around
The
that point,
distribution needs to become bimodal, which does
right?
happen, but that's generally due to something like like a company that's been failing for 10 years getting a complete turnaround overnight, or um you know a stock like a split, or an acquisition or a buyout. Things like that can ignore Gamma Max for a time until the options market catches up with the demand for the underlying equity, but for the most part, day to
Yeah.
day.
So barring MOAS, right? Gamma Max is essentially a point where you would start to consider maybe I could collect yield on my stock. Gamma Max trending up is sort of an indicator that if I try to collect yield, I should probably be careful because just because it doesn't breach Gamma Max doesn't mean that it's going to move up with Gamma Max, right? And Apple's a beautiful example of this happening. So if you just like sold calls at Gamma Max on Apple, you'd get assigned. So something to be wary of, but it is a place where that's pretty much the position that is probably on your top of mind. And if you're trying to load up because you got some dry powder from all the calls you've been selling, you'd be looking for more of trends towards like between GM and DN, because that's kind of like your sort of bull zone, provided they're not both trending down really fast. That's right around your kind of your cautiously bullish zone, and then when you get closer and closer to DN, the primary position should be, one, more dry powder, more buying if you want to buy more shares, right? It's kind of the DCA zone. If it were me and I had a bunch of money and I was trying to DCA into a stock, I'd probably do it between, GM and DN, and then, below DN, I guess, depending on how bullish I am. But if it breaks below DN and the Greeks are trending down, at that point, and I have a large position, I'd be thinking to myself, well, shit, I should probably protect this position. You could do it around GM too because price is rich there, but around there, especially if you have a good cost basis and you're up after say 10, 15 years, right? That DN zone is probably where I'd be figuring out what my exit cost basis would be for some of those shares if I'm trying to exit. And if it gets below VN, that's bearish. And so, that's pretty much how you could, like, in a really simple nutshell, how I would probably use it for long-term buy and hold with a big giant port is I'd be just looking between the levels, and then you can get even further with like the gamma curve. That kind of gives you a better idea of, okay, is there like a really steep drop off in gamma if price goes any lower? Is there a really smooth one? If it's really smooth, then it's probably going to be some pretty smooth sailing. But if it's like a super steep drop and you're starting to hit that super steep drop, then, that's kind of things are going to start getting spicy because the steepness of that, also known as speed, means that the market will react to a downtrend much more strongly than if it was a very smooth, low speed.
Would you just
gamma
tell him
curve.
how to hedge his positions?
Yeah, so I mean, I think
I did. I just did.
Yeah,
well,
God, it
okay,
was
but
so rambling.
yeah, no, it was great. I mean,
It
I
was
got
fine.
most of it, but I just want to say it in a different way, and maybe it'll help maybe it'll help people to hear it multiple ways. I think that's always a good thing. I always tell my students if they stop asking follow-up questions if they ask me a question and I try to explain it and they don't understand and then they don't ask me a follow-up question, that's just them telling me that they've given up on my ability to teach them, which is so sad and depressing. So just to encourage people to keep asking if you don't understand. But anyway, all that to say, just a slightly different way to think about it is these different, okay, I'll try to say it simply. These different colors are different like expectations. Orange, maximum bullish expectation. Here's where I hope, all the bulls hope it goes in their wildest dreams right now. The purple, the delta neutral, is kind of where people in general over long periods of time kind of expected to trade. Both bullish and bearish, kind of all kind of washed out. Gamma is sort of similar to delta, but it is much more sensitive to short-term changes. So it's much more of a short-term kind of
Signal.
indicator.
Yeah.
And then Vega is more of people who are like, well, if this shit hits the fan, I hope it doesn't go below this. or in this case here, but there's also some cases where Vega becomes more complicated. But when you see it laid out like this, where you see high, middle, low, that's usually the dynamic that's going on. So the orange line becomes, here's where I want it to go right now in my wildest dreams. If it went there, I make a shitload of money right now, right away, like crazy, crazy money. And you can see it hits there a lot, and that's part of like the mania of the times that we're in. But then whenever that fuel dies out, because it can't persist forever, eventually it has to die out. Then where does it go? It goes back to kind of the middle, and the middle is purple and blue. If I'm working on time frames of 6 months plus, can I discount gamma somewhat in my strategy? Yeah, I think that's fair. Definitely, if you're working on really long time frames, the delta is not only much more of a stable indicator, but it definitely, because gamma is naturally weighted more towards, like, it's a little bit complicated, but basically delta is much more stable over time. And so if you had to pick one of the two, yeah. And you can even see it in Docu, like the volatility of
Oh,
delta
this is
neutral much
Docu.
lower.
Sorry, I can get rid of that.
And this holds
Yeah,
true
I
for
mean, one of the
ETF
ways I
too.
like to look at
Yeah.
like long-term investments is if the stock is near Vega neutral and it doesn't have anything overly bearish like bankruptcy or, you know, massive lawsuits or something like that. I'm gonna be looking at that as, you know, being a very good buy. This stock is extremely cheap relative to where it's traded. It's you know, very near where the point of like collapse would be, where like volatility on an individual equity would start to rise to the downside. And like that can be a really good opportunity for entries in the long term. And then, you know, at Gamma Max, I'm looking to hedge off returns, at least near term returns. So I mean, this is a great example of that, because if you look at the forward returns after periods of pushing through Gamma Max, they tend to be somewhat negative at off the highs over time. Overall, the stock has trended down since then. And so this would have been a great time, you know, back here post earnings to sell like in the money covered calls a few months out and let the exuberance decay, kind of. And that's one way to hedge the downside. You could also buy, you know, in the money puts, and Gamma Max can give you a really good idea of where to position those in the money puts, because if the desire to continue to the hedging the market to the upside has started to fall off, then, you know, those in the money puts are likely to stay in the money, which means you don't have to follow necessarily the like standard recommendation of buying puts, you know, like 10 to 20% in the money. You could go slightly less in the money and have some knowledge that the options market is unlikely to put those puts out of the money at any point. And so you make hedging the downside a little less capital intensive that way. And then if you look at, you know, tests of gamma neutral or Vega neutral historically, you can see that, you know, buying DocuSign below Vega neutral back here at any point, you know, would have led to substantial forward returns. Even you know, back here where it dipped below, these are all like excellent buying opportunities, because this is where, you know, convexity changes. And so there's a lot of institutional interest supporting those levels.
You see, you guys are still over here in the medium term. I was thinking he was.
I mean,
gonna buy something and
I
hold
don't
on to it for
invest
10
in.
fucking years.
Well, I mean, you
He's still
can
a
still,
degenerate at heart.
yeah, but I mean, you can still use what I said about in the money covered calls and in the money
Oh yeah, for
puts
sure.
for hedging your near term returns over the long term. Because, you know, obviously, you know, if you bought Docu here, right? You know, you got a signal that it was coming out of accumulation, right? And Delta started rising, so it was looking really like interest was picking up a lot. And you sold in the money puts 3 months out here, you would have been in a great position to capture all of that upside. Right? Still have your stock at the end of it, but you didn't miss out on those returns. And so you'd feel a little less bad
In the
when
money
you're
puts, you mean in the money calls?
in the money sold calls or in the
Yeah.
money puts, either one.
You said long puts or sold calls? That's what
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
in the money long puts or in the
'Cause I
money
was like, oh,
sold
we're at
calls.
the top. I would sell calls, but
Yeah,
you said
like
in the
covered
money puts, I was
calls.
like, wait, yeah,
In the money covered calls.
yep, yep.
Okay. Yeah, you can think of them like Bollinger Bands, but they're not Bollinger. Bollinger Bands are based off of, a standard deviation from where spot is trading. These are based off the actual options, the distribution of exposures in the options market.
Yeah. Who asked that question? Because that's a really good question to define what is different between this and say like a technical indicator like a Bollinger Band.
It was someone over on the YouTube.
Okay.
I'm trying
Yeah,
to get
so
all the questions and then get people up on stage. I know BWAT's been waiting a little while.
yeah, I'll just say this real quick. Because this is really important. You know, Bollinger Bands and a lot of the other technical indicators, they look at basically combinations of volume and price, which tells you what the stock has done in the past. The wonderful thing about options contracts is that they tell you about what people expect or hope
In the
that the stock
future.
will do in the future, which is
Say it
why we
again.
start
For
when
the
we
people in the back.
in the future, which is what you actually want to know, which is why when we started this service, we started almost exclusively in options because the options are telegraphing what people hope will happen in the future, which is the thing you can make money on the future, you can't make money on the past. And so that is the primary difference between the options analysis that we provide and the traditional technical analysis that is provided based on, price and volume in the past is that those are backward looking. We are forward looking. Now, is it a guarantee? Never. It never is. If it was, that arbitrage would get destroyed by somebody better than you or I. But if you're looking for data, you want to look for data that tells you something about what people expect to happen in the future, not what happened in the past.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how people
You
are
can use them
hedging the
both together
future.
though.
Yeah, you
So
can.
you can I think that there's
Yes,
some value to that, but
absolutely.
We can also, you can also use this information to look at how people were hedging in the past and then what happened based on that sentiment previously. So if we know that all of the backward points, the historic points, are forward looking at that time, we can see the outcomes of that information over time.
Yeah, so that could be really helpful because, looking in the past can tell you like kind of how people have performed, which should kind of inform you of like why are they making the positions that they're making now? Are they desperate? Are they pushing on strength? Are they pivoting from weakness? Are they on the back ropes or are they about to run me over? So yes, they are complementary data sets. Knowing the past history, the past path can help you understand the future expectations and the strength with which the people who are making those bets will work to see those bets come through. Um, but they are fundamentally very different things, and you can't reduce one to the other.
yeah, I've used I've used some technical analysis like Doritos to just reinforce and confirm bias mostly.
I mean, our platform does technical analysis on the VIX every day, and I didn't mean to do it, but we do it. So, and I didn't stop it.
Yeah, once you started that technical analysis, it didn't stop.
I get at least one DM a week from somebody who's like, "Hey, just want to let you know, you've got great technical analysis on the VIX this week."
As you deserve to get.
Yeah.
So when you're looking
You'd
to
never be
add
told.
longer term buys, you're scanning for equities near VN and then learning more about their recent earnings, news, etc., or the other way around. Yeah, no, I do. That's generally not how I personally find companies to buy, but I've done it.
All right, let's get B Watts up here. He's been waiting
I
long
am.
enough. Is
I
he
am.
even still here?
She.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Bwats.
I forget of the 3 women in here. I forget who's who. I apologize. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Yes.
Hey, how you going? Thanks for answering my questions. Yeah, so I've been playing with the RTD V2. Well, not playing, really watching for a couple of nights this week. My body betrayed me and needed sleep last night. It looks like I missed a lot. But I've been watching it, and there's some chat about like put premium versus call premium and what's kind of bullish and bearish. And I'm just wondering if you could discuss that. So, like at about 10:45 last night before the drop, there was, I'm just looking on the 5 minute in terms of timeframes, but the put call ratio was like 1.8 or something, but then there wasn't much difference between the actual put premium and call premium. So I'm just wondering if that's an indication of like how far out of the money, like that would indicate maybe that the puts are further out of the money and the calls are closer to the money. And just part of that question, maybe just generally, if you could discuss how you look at put call ratio versus call premium, put premium, and perhaps IV. I can never see how other people in like often in vibe trading and stuff, they're talking about what's bought, what's sold, you're doing it as well. And I can never quite pick that. Like I can't see the IV. I've been looking at 5 minute and 1 minute. Like I have 2 screens and I'm looking at those 2 different time frames.
Okay.
But I'm just wondering, I'm just sort of wondering, I can never kind of go, oh, that's, like just in terms of bullish or bearish, like if I'm trying to sell spreads or maybe buy a put or whatever it is, like just bullish versus bearish. I'd say sentiment, but I think I used that word wrong. But just puts versus calls, what position I should perhaps take. I have trouble kind of telling what the market's doing, like it might be that there's twice the put call ratio there, but is that people selling puts? Is that people buying puts? I mean, obviously last night with the gap up, it was probably buying, but I just wondered how you use it and how you kind of interpret it. Long
Well,
question,
I mean,
sorry.
when I'm thinking about bot sold, the first thing I'm doing is definitely looking at IV. Now, remember, IV doesn't change based on the bucket you're using, so it's not affected by this. IV is just the IV of those strikes. There's no time window for that. But generally, the thing I'm focused on most is like the three strikes on either side of spot. So,
Why are you drawing it here? That's confusing. Draw it
What?
over there. Anyway, okay.
Whatever.
This isn't related to price at all. Yeah.
No, it's related to this, which is displaying nothing, so there's no point in drawing it there. So -10. This is for SPX, by the way. That spot 5, 10, 15 away. And I'm looking at the shape of this, right? Whether it's flatter, right? Is IV across the strikes flatter and then, curving up? Is it very steep? Which it can kind of be like this. Is it skewed to one side or the other? Is IV higher here and then its spot lower to the upside, or vice versa? Is it, higher to the upside and then lower to the downside? And I'm trying to pay attention to that, especially, because that's going to tell me where demand is. So remember, if people are buying options, the IV on those options is going to go up, right? If you just think about IV is price, right? And ignore the other aspects of it. Just think IV is price. If an item is in high demand, the price of that item is going to rise. And so what we're looking for when we're looking at the IV smile is we're looking at, where's the demand. If people are, selling the $10 out of the money strike and they're buying the $10 out of the $10 strike below spot, and the selling the $10 strike above spot. I should put it that way. IV down here is going to push up, right? And then IV out here is going to push down. And when we look at the kind of like the smooth slope of that, it's going to look like that, right? And that's skewed to the downside, and vice versa for skewed to the upside. Flat if demand across all of them is kind of equal. Very steep like this if IV demand for both the options below spot and the options above spot are high, which means it could kind of go either way, right? It's whoever wins the tug of war. But this gives you a very good idea of how price is likely to move, or at least where the demand is for price to move. And then you can then like kind of check out like your put call ratios and see what's going on here, right? So there's a couple things that we can derive from this right away. If puts are rising and put premium is going up, so PC up and put premium up, then you're in a situation, and you're getting that positive skew, or well, negative skew on the smile. This tells you that puts are being bought, like definitively. The reason for this change in skew and the smirk forming to the downside is because there are more puts on the chain, and those puts are being bought. Okay. Now, if you saw put call put call rising and put premium falling,
Sold. No.
yep, and your smile starts to skew this way, then this is sold puts.
So, Gherk, will you entertain me real quick and
Yeah.
go to the doc link that I just reposted in the chat, just so it's front and center. So this is basically a illustration. If you scroll down to the animated GIF at the bottom,
Did you just say GIF?
GIF.
God damn it.
Scroll down to the. Did he die? Did he leave? Is he dead? Oh no, he's here. Where'd you go?
He's yelling
Gherk?
at his cat.
Oh motherfucker! All right. Well, in a second he'll scroll down. I guess I could share my screen, but I know.
Gherk, scroll down.
Myself.
There
Sorry.
you go.
Okay. Yeah. So if you look here, this is basically a visual demonstration of exactly everything that he was just saying. So notice on the top graph, the salmon colored line is the value of a put, where the stuff on the left hand side are out of the money puts, and the periwinkle line is the value of calls, where the out of the money calls are above the line, and the dotted white line is the current spot price. So notice what happens as the volatility changes, right? If you say the volatility is flat, you have the solid line, and then as you increase it, right, you can see that the value of the out of the money options there go up. So now reverse that idea. What if somebody comes in and has a ton of demand for a bunch of puts, and they just want to buy puts? What's that going to do to the bid ask? They're going to blow out the ask, and they're going to raise the price of that put. Now, buying the put directly doesn't have a direct effect on the spot price right away, So the first thing that you're going to see is that the volatility of that put that somebody is buying like crazy is going to start rising before the price starts to adjust, right? Then the market makers are going to start hedging that, right? And that's going to have an impact on the spot price. But before all of that move happens, what you get is if there's a large demand for puts, it's going to raise the volatility. So that's kind of what Gherkin is talking about is, if you're seeing volatility go up or just in general be elevated over some time while there's a large volume of puts, that is an indication that somebody's buying puts because volatility is high while volume is happening. Now, conversely, if you see a lot of, if you see a lot of volume on puts, but you're seeing very low or you're seeing low volatility and you're seeing low put call premium because there's not a lot of demand for puts, that's an indication that those are sold. And, some things, is salmon pink or green? Are you serious, Duke? Popcorn? Salmon is salmon. Okay, so
Which none of these lines are, by the way. There's an orange line, a blue one, and a green one.
No, it is actually salmon. I
not
actually
salmon.
chose it to be salmon. It's salmon.
It's not salmon. It's Gammastrike orange. It's in our docs. We have a brand Bible that has this color listed.
Yeah, and you know what?
And it's not salmon.
Anyway,
it's orange as fuck.
It's the put color is what it is.
Yeah, it's put color. You get it. It's closer to red than the other color. So there you go. So if you go to Popcorn Trader asked me to talk about like the NVIDIA shit posts I've been making and like what my thesis was there. Well, I was looking at the volatility curve for the weekend, for tomorrow's expiry before earnings. And what it was showing me was there was this weird dip on out of the money calls up around 200. There's also a little bit of a weird dip below around like 150, but there was definitely a pretty big skew to the call side, which means that there's like, a ton of sold calls, right? Was my first inclination there because the volatility is so suppressed. Like when you start seeing a dip far away from spot, that's actually lower than the IV at spot. That is weird. And I've only seen it on, mega cap stocks right before their very important earnings, right? And so people are hedging so strongly with options contracts that they are literally skewing, the traditional models of pricing these contracts because it's so off equilibrium of like the expectations of how markets are supposed to perform. And what it's basically telling you is that those options contracts are going to determine where that stock goes, regardless of the earnings results. And so, I had a lot of fun doing this for Meta, and I ended up being pretty correct there. And so I just kind of applied the same idea to NVIDIA. One, because, I have a bunch of puts on the index, and I want to make sure that I don't get blown out by this one event. And so I'm interested in saying, okay, well, I'm pretty sure, based on just that IV alone, that NVIDIA is going to pop after earnings. And it's probably going to pop up to, in the range of 200, right? Now, you could even go further and say, we also show the 1 day implied volatility move, which is about 5.5%, which is exactly what the price went to. In after hours, it went like plus 5.5%. It went to to the 100th decimal place on our implied move. And all of that was telegraphed in advance, right? And so, my thinking was, okay, I can pick up, weekly spreads, bull spreads for NVIDIA for almost nothing and that almost nothing, if it ends up playing out, could counteract all of the potential losses and profits that I already have on my puts. So it's like, okay, for 5% of my current gains, I could hedge this event, which has historically been a very painful event for a lot of people. So I went for it. And, that hedge ended up being worthless, thank God. But I got the outcome I wanted, which was, my puts survived NVIDIA earnings. Anyway, all of that to say, then if you go to NVIDIA on the intraday, so the RTD V2.
You've rambled so long now that the person just left.
Well, it's fine. Their spirit lives on. Go to like 5 minute or 1 minute.
This is 1 minute.
No, on the buckets.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go. All right. So if you zoom in into the morning, like the first hour, if you ignore this weird 0 point, I don't know why that's.
That's because we
0,
didn't get any. There was like an options data issue from Opera this morning.
What I posted today didn't have that. Maybe that was on NPR. I don't know. I did see those posts from our service providers that they're having issues. But anyway, what is missing from that like 0 point there at the bottom is that the call premium was much higher than the put premium pretty much all morning. So like right at the open, there's people that clearly sold because call premium was through the roof and the price went down a little bit. But then it steadied out at this really high baseline relative to puts. And that baseline lasted until about, I think, 10 a.m. or so.
Yeah, about.
I snagged the image from your post and I put it in chat.
That's fine. Thank you. And during that time, you saw a little bit of price. Price was flat, a little bit up. And what I think that was basically a continuation of the thesis that I had, was that a lot of those calls were sold, and they got threatened by the move that was expected from the drop in IV, from the Vanna adjustment in IV. And so they wanted to close out in the morning so they didn't run the risk of going in the money later, which is exactly what was happening in that first hour. But then once they stopped doing that buying to close on all those calls, right? Then the overall backdrop of this massive sell-off on the market sort of just overtook everything, right? And so I could use all of that data to basically work out, what the current positions were, where their weaknesses were, and what they were probably going to do. The only thing I didn't have from that was the overall market response during that day, right? So I fully believe if you didn't have this massive sell-off, you would have seen NVIDIA to well over $200 today. And I think a lot of people were expecting that.
Oh my God. Those
And I know
he was right. Let him live in it, okay?
Those calls were bought. No, he wasn't. It didn't squeeze. It never went over 200.
Well, we'll know tomorrow morning
sold
when we
off.
see. We'll know tomorrow morning when we see what the OI changes. We'll have the answer then.
Yeah, sure.
Gentlemen can argue over all of this data because there's always uncertainty in any data set. And we'll have more clarity tomorrow morning when we get our OI update from what happened today. And I think the settlement to this argument, we don't have to argue about it. We can just wait for the data. If the OI went dramatically down for those strikes for tomorrow, or basically for the expiry for tomorrow, if in the morning those numbers went way down, so if you go to our OI heat map, if those numbers are super red in the morning after our morning update, then I was right. If they were green or flattish, then Gherk was right. And that settles the debate. And that's the great thing about having good data, is that the data tells you, the data is telling you what is going on. You don't have to guess. We don't have to argue and fight or speculate. Just let the data tell us what happened. So I think I'm still in there. I think my theory, it's so far has still been wholly consistent, self-consistent. But I think tomorrow's morning AMOI print will be the nail in the coffin, and we'll see. And we'll just leave it at that.
That's fine. Yeah.
I think that's fair.
And I think both of our theses are equally valid. I mean, like, you're looking at the smile. I was looking at the skew. And they do sort of tell different stories. So, and sometimes, it's as with all just raw data sets like that, your interpretation of them matters quite a bit.
Yeah, and I'm pontificating a little bit because I'm hoping that we are picking up some new folks who are just kind of getting introduced to us for the first time, and maybe that's not true, but maybe they'll come and listen later. But that's exactly right. Like if you're looking for a set of data that tells you exactly what's going to happen, that doesn't exist. What we can try to provide you is some additional understanding of how people are positioned beyond just, no knowledge at all, which gives you a lot of power in trying to look for you don't need a sure thing when you're trading. You need an edge. You need to go from a coin flip to a coin flip plus 5% or a coin flip plus 10%.
Yep.
Right. And so when I saw that dip in IV, was I sure they were all sold? Hell no. But did that give me a plus 5 or a plus 10%? Hell yes. And
well, I mean, your thesis on Vana and the IV correction was just entirely correct, whether they were bought or sold.
No.
Sure, but the outcomes would be very, very different, right? If those calls were all bought and IV crushed,
I mean, that's what happened,
honestly,
right? Like
if all the
IV
calls
crushed today and everything tanked.
in after hours, IV will crush in after hours. Once there was no catastrophic event with earnings. Earnings went well. There was no surprise. So market makers saying, all right, uncertainty gone, drop the IV on our books and respond. And they responded by buying all their sold position that was hedging all of that sold call position up above them.
I want to say this kind of defies the logic of how market makers hedge earnings and what happens on major tech earnings. Because, people are long, just like they're long the volatility in the underlying stocks, and the majority of that long volatility is concentrated in the Mag 7, where the like correlation to index volatility is super, super low. And when earnings is over, because the dispersion trade is so large, the MM is left holding a big fucking bag of delta. And when they crush the vol and they reprice the options, they dump all that delta regardless of if the earnings are positive or negative. It doesn't matter. Because there's so much long vol in the underlying. And that drastically outweighs, just simply the Vana exposure.
The thing is, Gherk, is that
so unless they become drastically more exposed to Vana, which would mean that the price would have to have gone over 200, then they are simply going to sell all that delta.
Well, so the Vana kicked in right away, and then once it got to right around 198, I mean, think about how much gamma, especially because all those contracts for 1 DTE, like the amount of gamma concentrated at that strike was just absolutely insane. So yeah, at some point the gamma was going to take over for sure, but right when everything was getting hedged off, I mean, the Vana was king, and so it just popped up and then got pinned there.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, I think like they could have gone up even if their earnings weren't good.
Oh yeah, that was just because
was
of
my
because
argument,
of the
yeah.
skew in the
Yeah.
IV. Yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
think it was going to
I
happen. No matter
didn't
what,
disagree
and
with
then
that
after
part of the
yeah.
thesis. I just thought like dealers weren't going to let themselves become more positively exposed to Vana and get squeezed out.
Well, that's why we got pinned. Yeah.
Yeah, because then dealers are in a position where they have to start picking up delta, and they have to start picking it up at much higher prices because they weren't effectively hedged. And so, like, statistically, the most likely outcome is that IV falls and dealers dump delta. And when dealers dump delta, price goes down.
Yeah, they do. Well, no, well they dump. In this case, they dump negative delta, so price went up. The difference was that
At
when the
open?
market opened.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
no,
talking
no,
about
no,
it
no.
open.
In
I
after
don't care about
hours.
the overnight.
In after hours.
Overnight's just the
At
spread, right? Like
At
they're
open,
buying
at
the
open, the dealers
delta
don't care. They're
until
already
open.
hedged. So at open, they don't care, and so then it just depends on what do the contract holders on the other side of those trades decide to do, right? And that's where I was talking about. You had all that call buying, and that's why I'm saying we'll get the answer tomorrow when we get the AM update. If the OI on those calls went down when they were bought to close, and my thesis was right. If the OI went up on those calls, then my thesis was wrong and something else is going on, in which case I'll dig into it and I'll update you. But so far, everything that I expected to happen, barring the other factors that I wasn't controlling for, which was a massive sell-off on the whole market, is still consistent. But I won't know the answer until tomorrow.
Okay.
And so if people want the answer, but all that to say, this was just one example I had where my interpretation of the current positioning, and then like in the intraday, looking at price action and looking at put call ratio and looking at the put premium and call premiums kind of helped me interpret what was happening in terms of people's positioning. And I know that might be dissatisfying to people who are just kind of looking for a simple answer. But that's kind of how you have to build some of these ideas. You have to have, I'm a scientist, so you have to have hypotheses, and those hypotheses have to have expectations, and you have to be able to prove or disprove them, right? And so, the easiest hypothesis to make with this data is if price is going up and call premiums are really high and call IV is really high, people are buying calls. And vice versa for puts.
Yeah.
And that is step one of understanding sort of what this data can tell you. Are people buying calls or selling calls, or are people buying puts or selling puts in size? In a size larger than everything else. That's the first thing to get from this data set.
He's finally done talking, by the way, if you didn't catch that.
Oh, I can keep
Just
going.
short little
I
tidbit,
No,
didn't
no,
know.
no, no. It's someone else's
Just a
turn.
small
This
sound bite for
concludes lecture 1. Let's get into lecture 2.
All right, I'm ready. No, thank you. That was really helpful. I think I just have to watch.
like, "I'm
I think
ready
the
to
IV. No. I think I have to watch that a few times. To be fair, I'm batting a lower average.
Yeah, hang out.
In
So
terms of following.
hang out in the SPX chat. I'll try to be on
Mhm.
tomorrow. And if you have questions, be like, "What's going on right now? How do I think about
Okay.
this?" And you just be like, "Hey,
Okay.
JFresh, I'm thinking about it this way. Does this make sense?" I'll be happy to answer. I'll be happy to like kind of help make sure that you're interpreting things correctly.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll
Or
probably be
or
opposite of what's going on.
Or sleep in. Whatever,
Yeah.
I'm just offering help if you'd like it.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I did ask it like a quick question because I'm watching the 1 minute and the 5 minute, and I don't know if this happens to anyone else, but the 1 minute is supposed to be all the positioning that's in the previous minute, but I feel like the positions flick on and off. faster?
It's okay. So this is a good point. So it's not a rolling minute. So it's a minute that
Oh, it's not.
starts
Okay.
over every minute. So for like the first 10 seconds of that minute, you'll have 10 seconds, and then 20, and then 30, and then 40.
Yeah, the 1 minute window closes every minute.
And that's just a
Okay.
it's a function of just how we're having to handle all of this. Is a lot of data. So if we were going to give you a rolling 1 minute, that means that our actual minimum resolution would have to be 10 seconds or 6 seconds, which increases our compute by, 6 to 10x, and we're already
Oh,
kind of
fair enough.
pushing it. So yeah, so the 1 minute will kind of look like it resets every minute.
Yeah, sometimes like a position will flicker and then disappear really fast, and then I kind of go, "What just happened?" but you're saying it's because that window's resetting every minute, so it probably just comes in like the last 5 seconds of that particular 1 minute.
Yeah, and we're still we're still tweaking that to make sure that that information is useful to people and understandable, because we recognize that that is a little confusing.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. But the other ones are all rolling. The 5, 15,
all
Yeah,
the
those are
so
rolling.
they're all rolling in a sense.
No,
Um,
the rest are truly rolling windows. So when minute 5 falls off, or when you hit minute 5, right, 4 minutes and 59 seconds, XXXXXXX. When that happens, minute 1 falls off, and then a new minute starts. So the
yes,
information
because
from
our
the first
minimum
minute,
resolution is 1 minute.
yeah, minimum resolution's 1 minute. And so when you're looking at the 1 minute, you can only see the 60-second window over and over again. On the 5 minute, it's a rolling window, 15-minute rolling window, 30-minute rolling window, 1 hour rolling window. The only other change is if you look at the 1 day for volume, it'll include everything for the day, but for gamma, it will include gamma that existed in the overnight. So it takes the gamma total from the overnight and then factors in the intraday change as well. So if you're looking for a macro view of the daily information, including the information that happened the prior evening, right? How the options chain was the prior evening with today's changes reflected, the 1 day. Everything else is a rolling window except the 1 minute, which is just a window, a continuous 1 minute window.
Yeah, if you look
So
closely at
So
the 5 minute,
yeah,
you'll
so
see it kind of
so
switch
the
around
5 minute,
still.
yeah, so the 5 minute, when it gets to a new minute, it rolls off the first minute and adds the next minute.
yeah,
And
that
so
makes
those are
sense. Yeah,
basically varying levels of sensitivity to what is happening on the chain right now.
that makes sense. But the 1 day that is just limited though to the options that expire today. They're all 0DT. It's just that you're saying
For
they could have been bought
SPX.
yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, for
Anything
SPX,
like
for
anything that's
equities,
yeah.
they're weekly options.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the next
Yeah.
available expiration,
Yeah.
which, you know,
So it'd be the same. It
we're
would be
working
like,
on. Yeah, I was just gonna say we're working on expanding that to like the whole chain, but honestly, in the intraday,
it doesn't matter
mo-
much.
I mean,
Yeah.
most of the flows that are affecting price in the intraday are the next expiration.
So when
Because
you're
for indexes is the 0 DTE, and then for single options it's the next expiry.
so if it was
It's like
Wednesday,
90
for
plus percent.
instance, right? And you were looking at Nvidia and you were looking at it on the 1 day bucket, you would be looking at this information plus the intraday change to this information. So nearest expiry, Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like tomorrow, you will be looking at this data plus whatever happens intraday to this. Tomorrow, this will in fact be a 0 DTE option.
Cool. Can I have more questions unless there's someone else with their hand up. Sure.
No, you can go ahead. I think. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I
okay.
think someone had
You
their
had
hand
the
up, but they put
courage.
it down.
Oh,
You had the courage to get
okay,
up
well,
here and
feel
start
free to
asking
boot
questions.
me.
So, yeah, keep going. Oh, Poya, piss out your
Oh,
ass.
Poya has a question. So if
Okay.
you have
Where's
more
his phone? Okay,
questions,
he
I'm gonna
yeah,
let
he said
Poya
go
come
ahead.
up, but you can just hang out
Okay.
if you want to mute, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
when he's done, you
He
can.
said go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
That sounds
okay.
good. He said what?
You're good. Go
He
ahead.
said
Ask
go
your
ahead.
question.
Oh, I'm good. Okay, sorry.
You got great
Okay.
questions. Keep going.
He
Oh,
tipped his
thanks.
fedora to you.
So, oh, thanks.
Sorry.
So the other day, the other day, you just ran through this list quickly where you were asked what you watched on the 0DT, and you said Gamma, then Delta, then Varna, then Charm only end of day, and Speed only if it was moving, and there's lots of Gamma. And I just was hoping you could go through again what it is about Varna that you're watching.
Oh,
Varna?
I mean, I'm generally looking for Vana for breakpoints and implied volatility, which I can also just use the smile for. But yeah, when I'm looking at Vana, I'm very interested in where the peaks of Vana are, where Vana moves positive below spot, how rapidly Vana moves positive below spot, because this is going to affect the delta hedge in relation to the increases in implied volatility. So if I'm looking to the downside, and I've got that like steep downside skew, right? And so I know, spots here, and Ivy is going to move up even just to the strike below it. And it's going to move up even more if it continues. Then I'm going to kind of go over here and look at Vana to the downside, right? And then, I'm going to think about how that Vana is going to affect this hedge at each breakpoint and how likely it is to push a continuation. So, if this were to start moving down below 180 right now, IV is going to move up, and then, there's a decent amount of Vana at those two strikes. And then not too bad of Vana down here. So I know, here is like where I'm going to be looking to like maybe set a stop. But I'm prepared for, a continuation to that lower point if IV continues to rise and positioning continues to come in. And that's where that falls off finally is roughly here where that peak and delta is. And that's probably support. So like in a very like microcosm here, I'm kind of looking at these, $1 apart strikes as being like minor support and major support. And maybe if it were prior to this move, I might buy my strike at that minor support, knowing that a downside move would likely test that because the rise in volatility is going to promote that continuation. And then if it goes in the money, I make even more. Right. So like I might buy here, this test I might add, right? And then put a stop. And then if it continues, big money.
Yeah, because I've heard you say before that if it goes past the peaks on either side, then that kind of gets squeezy. Is that kind of
Yeah, it gets its volatility starts to rise really, really fast. And so the Vana at those levels moves up really sharply as spot moves in that direction. So while this like out of the money Vana here doesn't look very high, if spot were to rapidly move there, that Vana would move up really hard. So would this. So all that because
what's the derivative of Vana with respect to spot?
Voma?
Are we gonna have to start plotting that?
God, no. 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 God, please, no.
Okay, no, that's awesome. Thanks. So that explains why the Vibe channel they talk about secret bottoms and then looking at Farmer. Is there acting as support?
Yeah,
Distance
Vana and speed can both be really good indicators of continuation in a move. Oh, I'm sorry, not
Yeah,
Voma.
'cause
Voma is the Vana of Gamma. The derivative of
yeah,
Vana is
so-
Yana, right?
Gross. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Why would you want
They're
to
all
look at a
made-up names.
fourth order fucking derivative, dude? Like that's like just a gap up essentially.
Well, I mean, because basically what he's trying to describe is how is Vana going to change as you get there, which kind of gives you a sense of like how pressured are short volatility positions or volatility positions in general going to be when you get to that point.
Well, Yana would be what? D vol D Vana D
At
vol,
that
which would
point, there's
be
many different ways you could do the
but that would
derivative.
also be like D Voma D spot, which actually it doesn't
Yeah,
sound so useless.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
I don't know.
Yana.
It sounds pretty fucking useless to me.
We'll talk tomorrow. We'll talk tomorrow. You ready?
just
You
take-
ready
Let's
to
make-
add this calculation?
Yeah, let's make
to,
Dork build it, and then be like, we're never
I'm ready to
using this.
smash my head into my
3 terabytes of
desk
data.
until I become brain dead.
Let's add this calculation to 3 terabytes of data. Let's get that in there.
Go. Let's fucking go.
Let's do it. It's gonna take us 3 months, but we'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's got
I have
fourth
a
order
really stupid
Greeks?
question.
Nobody.
Who's got Gouda?
Not
Gouda?
even the market makers.
That's the edge. That's where we have to go. We just have to keep going further up the
We
derivative
must go
curve.
deeper.
Guys, we could make whole quarters of pennies every few hours, once a day for like
Even
a
the treasuries
15
stop making
millisecond
pennies.
window.
They're worthless. Pennies are worthless.
With expansions, any order derivative is possible.
I know.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. All
Okay.
right.
So don't get upset. I have a really stupid question.
I
Okay,
love
the
stupid
gamma
questions.
curve. Okay, good. On the real time data page, RTD, the version 2.
Mhm.
The middle graph on the right where you've got gamma plotted.
Yeah.
That's okay. So that is the current gamma curve, which is it gets sort of
Well,
pointier, like squishier on like as the day goes by. So it's
So
it's
let
the
me
it's
let me
the
just
curve that's okay.
can I clarify something with that really quick? This gamma curve is different from the gamma curve that we have on the gamma curve page. This gamma curve on RTD is the actual just gamma. The gamma curve is the gamma exposure. So this gamma curve is directly tied to IV.
That's what I was going to ask because that's in the rolling window. It changes, and sometimes when I see a bip up, say in IV,
Oh, you're talking about
then I
Gex
see
there?
no,
Or no, the
sorry,
gamma curve.
the actual orange gamma curve. So
Yeah, okay.
that's tied to the not time, but I don't know, bucket size. So
No,
5
it's not.
minute,
No,
15 minute.
it's only tied.
It's not?
That's only
It's
tied
honestly
to the
just
IV.
tied to the IV. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
a normal it's
Oh, so
basically
that
just a normal
doesn't
distribution.
change.
So do you know what a
Okay,
bell
so
curve
that
is?
explains. Yeah.
So
That
the
It's just a
gamma
explains
bell
because
curve.
sometimes
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
this is the probability distribution that the options market is pricing in. So so what I'll do, you know how Gherk talks about bought sold on the IV curve? What I'll do is I'll just look at the gamma curve and look at which way it's skewing. It's kind of two flavors of the same ice cream cone.
Yeah.
that's what I was. Okay, cool. So not such a stupid. I was going to say I feel like sometimes when IV goes up, like you have the nip up in IV at the top. then
You'll see
gamma goes
this
down.
shift down and when skew down here moves up, and you'll see it shift up relative to spot when the skew up here moves up. So
Yeah, and it's almost like a mirror image though. Sometimes like if one of the IV things spike up, then the Gex spikes down, the gamma spikes down.
Mhm.
Like it's not smooth as well. So that's because it's a function of the it's
Quick, I gotta
tied
go
to
to
that
the
function. I was just hoping that was kind of tied to the bucket size because I thought maybe that was what we've seen IV in that window kind of thing.
So
But if
check out
it's
the docs. I just posted a link in the chat. kind of goes over how that bell curve changes as volatility goes up or down too. So just to give because it'll be fatter or skinnier in the day depending on how high volatility is. So when volatility is really low, you get this like really tight little peener. And usually as you approach the end of the day, that's kind of showing you the same thing. But you can think about it rationally, right? As a probability distribution. As expiry gets closer and closer, the range of probable prices for spot shrinks. So if it's really wide, that means that there's a lot of uncertainty. And if it's really narrow, it means there's a high degree of certainty. So just to give you a little more intuition on that.
No, that's awesome. Thank you. That makes sense. I have, don't hate me, I know I'm just learning how to do it, but I can see the R2, I can see the version 2 data goes back to November 7th. I'm just wondering if you're planning on populating it further back, just so we
can only
look for
populate it forward.
things.
Well, yeah, we're
Oh,
not
okay, fair
gonna retroactively go backwards, but it should be, what is it, Gherk? Did we say 30 days? 20 days?
I
like
believe
that.
we dropped it to reduce the calculation load, so it's going to be like 15 days.
Yeah, 15 trading
It's
days.
a
yeah.
shitload of data.
Yeah,
That
because
way.
we were doing like hundreds of millions of calculations at market open, and it was bogging shit down.
Okay.
We're trying.
Yeah, no, that's impressive. I'm finally finished. The only thing that I was wondering about is, you've got the implied moves, the 1 day implied moves, which a lot of, like, I see a lot of awesome when I'm trying to sell things, we're watching for the 1 day move to be touched and or go over whatever to start thinking about selling spreads. I wondered, historically, do you have the historical data? Don't hate me again, but like on the actual trader dashboard, would it be terrible to add like the bands that show? I just wondered how often price ends up ending outside the IM band kind of thing.
Rarely,
We've discussed
Rarely,
this a
okay.
little bit,
a
but
bunch.
you'd have to you'd honestly have to, for the further out implied moves, you kind of have to like forward shift them to see if the past prediction of pricing was correct, right? So for like the 5-day implied move, you'd have to push them forward 5 days, and I don't know.
I just
It
meant
could
the
end up
1 day.
hand wavy.
For the
Oh, the
live,
1 day, I mean,
like, because
that
like the 1 day is a band. I was just sort of curious how that
That's how
works.
options are priced the night before. It can change intraday, but it's valuable to know the range and from spot with that market maker's priced options going into the next day.
yeah, that's pretty much all the OI from the
Which
day
is far more
before. Like, how's it
valuable
going to react?
on like SPX than it is, or SPXW than it is on like a single equity,
Yeah, that's
because
what I
of
was
the
thinking.
0 day options. Because otherwise, the 5 day implied move for like a weekly option is more important.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
with one
That's,
DTEs, like, because there's overnight hedging happening and stuff, and what you're seeing with the 1 day implied move is those overnight hedges, like, where are they essentially positioned, right? So they're going to be hedging off throughout the day, but that gives you an idea of the starting point, I guess you would say.
yeah, and they matter less as the day goes on, the implied move ranges.
They matter
Yeah.
less if they've been tested a second time.
Okay.
So if you've tested them once or exceeded them once, and then like price action goes back there, options have likely repriced significantly at that point.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you. Can I ask, you're on SPX on the YouTube. Do
Yeah.
you ever use the real-time data for the Mag 7, like the other ones that are up? Because
Yeah, I just
they
don't
don't.
trade them very
Yeah.
much.
Okay.
I
But
mostly like,
wondered if
I
you're
mean, I
actually
mostly just
trading.
trade SPX. That's why I don't really pull anything else up during the day, unless people ask to see
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I mean, I know, boring, but yeah, I don't really trade those very often.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Thank you. That's
No problem.
I'm done. Thank you so much. Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks for still
hope we
doing
Yeah,
helped.
this,
thanks
by
for
the
coming
way,
up with your
after like
questions.
38 of them. Thanks. Bye,
Thanks for
guys.
coming up.
It's
All
time to
right,
piss
piss
out our
out your
asses.
ass. Number
Woo.
one.
Howdy.
How's your ass?
I went to Disney World and apparently haven't had a flare up, but Disney World, whatever the fuck is in all their foods, that sucks. So anyway,
I can
yeah,
attest to
yeah,
that.
yeah, they got something in that shit, and it is not okay.
Are there? What about um, what's the all the different countries park?
Yeah, Epcot Center. So
Epcot.
yeah, we hit that, and like I only hit it like a couple of the places because our toddler, we're stuck in Netherlands for like 4 hours.
Mm.
Trying to put it to sleep. But anyway, so I mean,
I found their food to be better than ever, like somehow different than everywhere else. But
yeah,
I don't
actually,
know
and
if
that was
you're.
our last day. And now that you say that, it wasn't really an issue. But
Yeah,
yeah, the other two parks we
the
went
food
to,
everywhere else is garbage, but Epcot was actually
garbage. Yeah,
enjoyable.
legit.
Yeah.
You should have gone during the global pandemic. We went, me and my girlfriend at the
We
time
actually did.
went to Disney World.
It was
Did
awesome.
you, dude? Did you get
Yeah.
automatically upgraded to the nicest hotel room in the entire place, and then got 0 lines in the rides? Because that's my experience.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was like we had to go on an app and like book our times. But anyway, we
Yeah,
got
yeah,
in.
that was bad.
Like it wasn't a problem at all.
Did you go to the Kennedy Space Center during the pandemic? Because that was also awesome.
No, I didn't get a chance to do that.
There was nobody. There were like 10 people there when we went, and we just got to walk right up to those giant rockets and just stand in front of them and just stare and be like, "These are huge."
But the world's flat, so that's fake news. I'm just kidding. Don't
Well,
believe
yeah,
that.
but I
I
mean, when
mean-
you look at the rockets, they're still cool.
Oh, Jay Fresh says, I mean. All right. So,
What's
um,
round? What does that even mean?
I know you guys are probably
It means
pre-worn
the
out
world's
by
not
this
curved;
point.
it's flat.
Oh,
We never get worn out. That's why we're where we are.
Yeah,
hell
right.
yeah.
Yeah, we just keep going. We're the Energizer bunnies of I don't even know what masochism.
Hey, retire and self-employment. That's where it's fucking at.
That's all I heard was Wendy's dumpster over and over again.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I know where to go. All right, what's your question, sir?
All right. So I think the one thing, I mean, B Watts had that was great. That was good questions. And I think she poked on one thing. It was about the like rewind on GS. So just confirm, like we can go back to 15 trading days and kind of see what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, for the yeah.
Yeah.
So
You can zoom out
yeah,
and
for
fucking just go
for
look
the
at it.
RTD, it should go back 15 days. Now it's to populate, and every once in a while, when we have to change something because it's still in beta, if we ever change something, it could drop a day or something like that. But
Right.
Or drop all the
yeah,
days.
right now, right
Just drop
now, it is
everything.
back populating back 15 days, and it'll roll off once we hit the 15-day window.
So would it be worth this?
Yeah, we're at
to
13
say
right now.
13.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of data. Yeah. Is it more data in like major volatile events?
No, it's just it's the granularity. And
Think about so here.
we
Let's
take
break-
in-
I'll
Creating
give
the
you an idea.
data.
we take in
creating
price
the data
data at like
can
a
be-
millisecond level, so
Well, so here,
Yeah.
I'll give you an idea. So the option chain for SPXW, for just the 0 DTEs, okay? And we're just gonna assume, let's just stick with the 0 DTEs, is something like 600 strikes, okay?
All right.
So now you have how many minutes in a trading day are there?
390.
390 minutes times, let's just say 800 or 600 strikes for simplicity. So you have that data points, right? And that's not even counting which data points,
each of those,
which
yeah,
actual values are in those data points.
Yeah, because
right?
you
So
have
Yeah,
you
but
have
that-
the
millions and millions.
And so,
You
but
have
that
the-
data
yeah.
set's not super hard to store. The challenge is the rate at which the data comes in. So we are taking in every
Yeah.
trade, and then we are bucketing it into segments. And it is that bucketing into segments that is pretty significant in terms of overhead. Once we get it into place and run all of our, taking it and keeping in mind that we're running calculations on these that involve things like route finding and other things that aren't super trivial. That can start to add up. But then once we get it in the bucket, we can store it for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. But we still have to do
so-
calculations on those data points sometimes.
Yeah.
So I guess that leads into like the next question is, would it be worth it to involve like major trade days, whether it's straight up, down, over a month or week or few days, like what we had in April versus directly after, not directly after, but a month
Are you saying
or
like
two
flag special
So
days?
you want
and put
more
them in our
you
special
want more.
collection?
Yeah, on so let's call it special
You're
days,
allowed to want
just
more.
We'll put it on the fridge. Yeah, it's what you're saying. We put those days on the fridge, and so they stay there.
yeah. So it's kind of like, oh shit, because realistically, what happened when we had that pullback in April, or do we call that a crash? That wasn't a crash, right? Was that a
it
crash?
was technically a crash.
Dirk says
Okay.
yeah.
So like, it was just acting like I haven't experienced that before, right? So things traded much differently, right? But I don't know. So
Well,
trying to make
so
that
my question to you is, what value do you think that would add to your future trading decisions to see in the data set? Let's just say it's a 4% down day. Okay, you see that in the past data, and now you're looking at today, and today is just flat. Or like we would be holding on to that on the off chance there's another 4% down day, which statistically there's like less than a 1% chance of that happening.
Well, yeah, and I'll just add to that. There is a danger to over statistizing things. I have no idea if that's a word,
Yes.
but
Chaos.
yeah, chaos.
All your statistics
They
mean
call that
nothing.
over. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was actually having this
I'm not
discussion with
trying to look
somebody
at it
that
like statistics, but like familiarities. There we go.
Right, but
Wow.
that's the same thing. You're saying
Is
that,
it? Okay.
if I understand how it behaved in this situation in the past, I can try to get a sense of how it might behave now, right? That is a
From a risk
statistical inference.
perception of like that 5%, like what you guys were talking about in the beginning with,
That's or no, it's not recency bias. That's like it's like a weird bias,
Well,
but it is a
okay,
bias.
so yeah, I was having this. So there's this guy on Twitter that I think is real sharp, and he was like, "Hey, are you guys interested in doing, other pricing models for options? To try to basically try to play the game of, can we try to out market maker a market maker?" And the answer is probably not. So
Well,
we're
that's
not super interested in doing that. But the reason that it is so difficult, and the reason that most of the shit you see on Twitter about like past events and like, oh, the last time this has happened 8 times in the past, and over those times the
Yeah.
outcomes were this and this. The reason all that is bullshit is because you have a system where the inputs are so broad that there's just not enough data to actually create a statistical representation of it, right? And so you'll notice that a lot of these things say like, oh, I saw some today because we had a statistically
Santa
meaningful
rally coming?
reversion. No. We had we were up over 1% in pre-market and then dropped over this percent during the day. that's happened like 8 times over the last whatever years, and the outcomes were like plus 1.8 over the next like 10 trading days is like plus 1.8 to minus 1% or something like that, which basically just says like you have no statistical data at all. Like this was an exercise in futility. And so this is always going to be a challenge. Everybody wants to get a better sense of how things are going to be, and they think that the farther back that they look, the better idea they'll have. But that's actually the opposite of what's really true, and it's one of the reasons why we are hesitant to
Yeah, I
provide
can see
models
that.
that look so far back because,
Yeah.
for example, I know there are volatility funds that have 7 to 10 years of historical data and use that to get a sense of are things cheap or expensive.
Yeah.
But the trading environment 7 years ago was so
It is way
different
different. Yeah, way different.
that
Yeah.
to assume that they all fall in the same sample size, that they all fall within the same sample space is insanity to me.
Yeah.
And
So
I'm sure they're successful, and maybe they're accidentally successful by using bad statistics, but that's not good statistics. And
well,
so sometimes you just have to acknowledge that there are no statistics, and that's
yeah.
retail's edge. Retail's
Yeah.
edge is that there
On the
you
fly.
can't reduce the markets down
Yeah.
to a bunch of historical precedents.
Yeah.
There are new things that come in, and what Girk said, chaos.
Yeah.
Retail is chaos. Embrace the chaos.
Yeah,
Agreed.
imagine the market. Like, well, the market isn't. It's weird. It's not truly a chaotic system, and like as you would define an actual chaotic system.
No,
But it
it's
is
fully prescribed, which is
because it
weird. Yeah.
is it's not purely deterministic, but it's also extremely high dimensional,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like you're not dealing with like a second order or a third order. It's, you have millions of different participants, and you have
Mm.
hundreds of different time horizons, and you have rules and microstructures that can, change on the fly. And then
Yeah.
you also have like regulation and derivative feedback, and so it's it it's kind of like if you took there was like an example my stochastic calculus teacher used. It's like if you have like a bowling ball and you put it on the end of a spring and you put it on a table and you just go and push the bowling ball, you have no idea
Mm-hmm.
where that bowling ball is going to go. In the long term it's going to end up standing back where it was, but in the short
Mm-hmm.
term you have no idea what's going to happen. And that's kind
Yeah.
of how the market is. It's like it's got like this kind of like non-linear property to its reaction to things.
Yeah.
But in both very short time horizons and very long time horizons, it's very predictable.
Okay. So, okay. So, and I get
That's the
that. But
longest way
on
to
like a
just tell
so
somebody
so
no.
I told you all this before. Like
We've told him no like
Very
400 different ways.
no, I know, but
Is it my turn?
Do you have a good one?
if
No,
you're
let him
trading
talk.
zero
I'm sorry.
GPs,
What?
I'm just trying to see how. So like today, for example, I closed. Like I just took some shit position, right? I just took a shit out of the money, put position. I was like, this is fucking overbought, and like, Kirk, you celebrate your birthday, you're gone. I just did my own hypothesis. Then it's turned into a theory, and then it came true. And then, tune into Gammastrike, and I was watching it, and what I trade off of when I'm doing scalps is really skew and Gex and Gamma, with a little bit of flip in there, and how that's reacting on both ends. But it was just there were some points there where it looked like it was going to stop, and even though we're below support levels where it's like his ultimate failure, it kept like retesting, and then I closed where I could have held on for more gains, whatever, hindsight, but whatever, I made profit, so that's good. But I'm wondering if I'm watching Gammastrike now and taking my own personal thesis out of it.
You should.
And
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Don't introduce your bias if you can avoid it. Like,
Okay.
and the good thing here is that
one
you
thing I'll say
understand that you
here
have one.
is-
Okay.
Yeah, well, one thing I'll say here too is that today was not a day of statistical continuation, right? This
It was
was
a
not
shit show?
statistically. Yes, today was a shit show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
And so if you're looking to rely on statistical precedent
Mhm.
to predict a shit show, you're going to get shit, which is what most people got today because that's what most people are doing.
And this
And
will
so
clear it all up.
being able to recognize when when the shit show has left the station, and you just got to kind of say, okay, all of my like whatever trend or like long-term strategies that I have going on, today is not the day for that.
Yeah.
What I do know is that everybody wants this shit to go up, and it's not going up, and it's way not going up. So everybody's fucked.
Yeah.
And so I want to press on exactly where people are fucked, which
Yeah.
is
The major.
buying
Yeah.
puts for a continuation.
Yeah.
And today it worked, but it almost never works. Like over the last 2-3 years, it almost never works, right?
In April, it fucking worked, and it worked hard as hell.
Well,
And
sure,
that's what
but the expectation is that any major drop is going to be met with a massive rebound right away.
I bought puts.
Right.
That's the expectation, and so when you're able to see like, oh,
Bottom
everybody
would be
that's
great.
playing this game is getting fucked today, then you start fucking them.
Whip it
Because
out.
they're in larger size and they're on their back foot, and you're smaller and nimble and agile and able to pivot much better than they are.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. That's a great confirmation, that pivot point. So that is true. Since we are smaller, we're able to take little pieces of their big pie.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
say,
you don't have to
"That's mine."
close.
Sometimes they'll
You
even
don't have
pay you to
close
take pieces
30
of their
million in
pie.
underwater. You don't have to close $30
I
million
know. I'll
in
sell shit
underwater
someday.
positions
Yeah.
that are going to move the market by closing them against you. You're not in that position, so
No.
you have an advantage in that situation.
And I think
Yeah,
that's where
you
my
don't
question was,
realize
like,
how easy retail has it until you start to scale. Like if you start trading like ES and like 10 or 15 contracts and the dealers start hunting you down, shit gets wild. You go up to 50 and you've got a target painted on your back.
No shit.
Well, it's a transparent market versus equities, right? So, everyone knows what you own and who owns it.
Do you okay? So, and I've been for about a year and a half now. Like it almost how I choose to scalp is, I feel like they know when retail is buying small amounts to do quick scalps because the motion is there. You have everything lines up, right? And then there's like, nah, I'm gonna flip that real quick. We'll take your $2, $3, $5,000, whatever, just boom, get you out, get
Yep.
out of our space. And that's on index, right?
Mhm.
And I don't know, but that's probably more conspiracy.
No,
type
that's.
mind.
I mean, they can if they see the opportunity on the tape and they can take it, they will. I mean, just the algorithms will do that for them.
Yeah, sometimes I have to like wait out. Luckily, when VIX is this high, when VIX is low, and everything's pointing in the right direction, I'm like, here goes scalp, and I get in. It's just like toasted. But when VIX is a little bit higher, like now,
Get rugged.
I have to wait it.
You
I
like
have to
buy
wait
the
it
buy
out
the
to
dip
flow.
and catch the bounce, and then the next candle rugs back below the low.
I think I'm more of a bear than I'm trying to learn to play more bull bear bull, but
You'll get there.
yeah.
You get burned enough being an only bear that you'll move it around. Yeah, I don't know. For me today was really structured and orderly. I thought it was like I literally like this morning, like we bounced off of the sold puts at the DN test, but or the DF test, and then we bounced back above the implied move, and GF and DF continued to rise towards spot, and I was like, fuck it. So I set a stop. I had call spreads that I overpaid for yesterday to hedge the upside on Nvidia earnings, and those went like pretty deep in the money. So I set a stop on those, and I bought 2 puts just in case my stop got fucked, and I walked away, and I had to go take a phone call for like a couple hours. And when I came back, we were trading at like 55, like 65, 70.
Yeah.
And I made
That's wild.
like $31,000 on 2 $2,500 puts.
Oh, stop.
Dude, I was worried about that when he came back. I was like, holy shit, what's he about to walk back into? Either he's really fucked or he's really...
And then I closed those, even though it wasn't the low of the day, and then I just stopped trading entirely.
Nice.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, so I will say in terms of like the orderly, I agree. Like this was not a chaotic sell-off. This was a everybody is still trying to fight for up, and everybody's still fully embracing the bounce that is hopefully coming. And by hopefully coming, I mean definitely coming tomorrow, because if it doesn't come tomorrow, they might be actually pretty fucked.
Fucked. Yeah, it's Friday.
It's
Good.
OPEX Friday.
Yeah, but remember, there's liquidity problems at the front end, and cash
maybe.
demand is highest tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but
What's your Bitcoin indicator look like right now, JFresh?
pretty shit.
Bitcoin's down
Bitcoin's
1%.
Way down, yeah.
Looks like this dog shit bounce overnight's gonna fail.
Yeah, it really does. I'm not betting on that bounce.
Hey, dork, Pooties and Tooties
But,
nailed the top.
Of course it did.
But all that to say, stop having secret indicators that you lord over me to try to get me interested. I'm not interested in your shit.
You're so interested. Look at how great that
Shut
was.
up.
Looking into the past just the right way.
I don't want to know
pretty
anything
interested in
about
that
it.
one you had.
I'm not jealous at all that you're working on secret things behind my back. That's what me and Dork do with you.
Whoa.
No, Dork
Like
leaks
that.
all the information to me, as he's
Dork-
contractually obligated to do.
Dork plays
God, this is a
both
sitcom, I
sides,
love
and I
it.
respect that.
Yeah, well, he's
But
got to get
anyway.
love from both of his dads.
Well, yeah, I get
does.
my TA rocks off with Gherk because I know JFresh will just call me an idiot, and then I get my options rocks off with JFresh because he'll just call me an idiot.
Exactly. You get me. You get me. The secret is that I also think I'm an idiot too.
We're all, functionally retarded.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
why we built
can't-
this.
Can we can still say that word, right?
I think so.
I think
at
it
least
just
for the
came
next
back.
3
Yeah,
years.
it's. I think. It's
I
acceptable
don't
now.
know. What's South Park's position on that? If they can say it, we can say it, right?
They said it. They've said it so many times.
So we can say we can show. We can.
This
show
is what you
proof
can't do.
on
You
the-
can't call somebody who's mentally disabled that. That's
Well,
fucked
they
up.
aren't.
Like, what kind of piece of
Hey.
shit would do that?
Well, that's
But
the
you
thing
can
is
call
they aren't.
yourself that all day. Especially if
Yeah,
it's
anyway.
true, which in this case it
Anyway,
is.
Okay, but okay. So anyway, I don't even know what I was trying to say. You've got
It didn't matter.
Here.
We're off. Hey,
How-
so,
how
can I wrap
dare
up
you.
my questions real quick? I gotta put my daughter to bed.
Oh sure, yeah.
Okay. Are we going to see an app come soon?
An
Yeah,
app?
You want to
want an
make it?
app?
You want to volunteer to make it?
Yeah,
Yeah, you know
I'll
how?
fuck with
Alright.
it.
You want to make it?
I've been fucking with it.
We're
Are
not
you
going to
gonna
pay
try
you.
to vibe code this app? Are we gonna get?
Ah,
Are we
whatever.
gonna get?
That'd be cool to make.
Yeah. All right. Wait,
All
like
right,
how
well,
technically
yeah.
proficient are you?
Are you talking Android or Apple? Or both?
I've like fucking around, made a couple games. That's it.
Android or
Well,
Apple?
that's more than
what I
most
wanna
people.
know.
But
Both.
if you're gonna vibe code this shit with OpenAI, I will murder you.
Oh shit.
I will throw a hammer.
That
to
was
your
his
I'm
whole
brain.
trying to
plan.
get off of that. That's what I'm trying to learn.
How about
I'm
just
about
an
to
app
find-
that sends a notification when the overnight and morning data has updated?
How about
That's
just an
pretty cool.
app that forwards you to the Safari browser on your iPhone?
Ooh, or like what's that called? Financial Juice, but for Gammastrike.
No, all it'll do is it'll send push notifications that say when the data is updated, and then when you click the notification, it takes you to the Safari page.
Can I
love it.
link GS to TV?
No. Well, I think TV has a way to do something kind of like that, but it's yinky as fuck. I
All it
looked
would
at
do
for a
is
bit
is
back
like
in the
plot
day.
the same lines on TV's chart, and our price data is faster than theirs, so that would be weird.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Dude,
Okay.
does that stand for let me goop that for you? You're gonna goop me?
All right,
Goon?
last question. I have a last question and then a
All
statement.
right, ask your
Alright.
question, sir.
What happened to VWAP?
It's not
What do you
gone.
mean? You can get it anywhere.
No, I know.
You want it
But
on
why
Gammastrike?
isn't it? Why don't we talk about it anymore?
I
'Cause we have
do.
better things. I mean, VWAP's
Sometimes
I
on like
talk about it
ES
like
or-
every day. Yeah, well, that's because there is no fucking VWAP on SPX. There's no volume.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, dumb question. Cancel it. I miss your VWAP hat.
You have Delta Flip, which is the
Yeah.
VWAP of an options only index.
kind of is,
Okay.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
a great way to.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right. And then I think that's it.
Where's your
But I do
statement?
want to say to Only Pickles to fuck you for blocking me. I've never even talked to you.
Oh, shit. Yeah,
And
that's true.
I
That's
can
what
call
you
like
should
the
use this
Disableism
stage
or
for. I'm so proud of you.
Disableism. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm saying
Call
it.
him out.
Call him
Shame
out.
him
Call him out.
into
He's
Put him on blast.
Disableism or Ambulism. I don't even know how to say it. I
shame
just
him
Googled
into
it.
doing what you want him to do, which some might call bullying, but we'll just call micro-bullying. I don't know.
We'll call it being assertive.
I got blocked for pissing out my ass, dude. That's rude.
Well, some people don't want to see that. You should stop
It's a
doing that in
penguin.
public. Yeah,
It's a
Disney.
penguin. You know, penguins do it at Disney too. I saw some blood too.
I mean,
It's cool.
you at least had the wherewithal to turn it into a physics problem.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Y'all
Later,
are
dude.
awesome.
Yeah, thanks for coming up and asking your questions.
Yeah, thanks for the questions. I must
All right,
say,
Windmill.
Jay-Fresh. Yeah,
Huh?
I'm fine.
Oh, it's
Windmill.
Willie.
I was gonna
Willie's
ask if my
Willie's
server
back
got
on.
fluid flow.
Willie's back on the pipe again. By the way,
What is
Willie's
going
back.
on
he
in here?
rejoined the Gamma
Back
the
again.
Gamma Strike
Can you guys hear me?
denizens the
Willie's
other day.
back.
Back
Yeah,
again.
we can hear you.
Friend.
Okay. What's
Guess
up,
who's back?
you
What up,
magnificent bastards? I popped on because a little flag went off in my head when the previous caller to Gamma Strike Overnight mentioned VWAP, the thing that often people go, oh yeah, there isn't one for a volume or a yeah. Would there be any value in? I personally, you know, I'm asking a leading question. Take the ES VWAP, convert it to the basis of SPX.
Yeah,
Note it up.
and print it.
Yeah, and just
Yeah.
note that it's ES's VWAP, but ES converted to SPX price would be, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah, and it's generally, I'll tell you right now, it's usually just exactly the same as like CFD SPX VWAP.
Sure. Yeah.
And they're both generally pretty close to the Delta Flip.
Right. I've done some overlaying of those, and depending on which of the CFDs you're tracking, it can be way off.
Yeah, but like the
I-
liquid ones aren't.
I stopped doing it because it got kind of like it just got too weird. Like,
Yeah.
whoa,
Hold on,
this is
Gherk.
But
$13 away from the real VWAP.
Are you implying that people trade index options contracts with futures?
yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I don't know. I feel like you've got your line game strong on the chart there. It wouldn't hurt to add a
Yeah, but that's
Yeah, we just got to
futures
get
data.
futures data,
converted
which is
ES
not
VWAP.
cheap, Reno.
Yeah,
futures
CME
data is
CME
pricey.
shit's got to come later. We gotta get we gotta get big.
Isn't there a way
CME's
to
in the
scrape
pipeline,
the
and it's
value?
not.
Isn't there some kind of
You know why?
clever
Because
method?
CME demands both your first and second born child to provide their data services,
Right.
and then they
dealing
give you a
with children.
pipeline with everything, and then they're like, "Oh, but you can't distribute all of this," and they give you like a
Yeah, we need a
binder
better lawyer is what we
of
really
shit.
need.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, if you're just observing what the VWAP is from somewhere, scraping it visually, textually, whatever.
Oh, I don't want to
You know,
scrape shit. That's garbage.
Cre-
You fucking, I
Well,
don't.
I mean,
It would
at
be
least
like one
it
of
would
those
be
dog
close,
shit
and it's
TD
not like,
services.
I look out the window and I post on a web page that it's raining. It's not like the rain comes and asks me for a license fee. I'm
Windmill.
just observing
Would-
that it's raining.
You know what's gonna happen
Would
is
you
TDA is
continue
gonna
to use their
realize
service?
the error in their data sharing one day. Like they're gonna do an audit, and like hundreds of thousands of
They're gonna
dipshits
is
who
gonna-
vibe coded indicators are gonna get
Well, sure.
ruined.
Yeah,
some
Windmill.
POS
Would you continue to pay for our service if we told you right now that it actually is all just coming from TDA?
Yeah, because of the way you present it.
Oh,
Wow.
well, all right, I'll take that.
Well, I guess we shouldn't have paid fucking CBOE. Son of a bitch.
I mean, honestly, you've presented.
We
it
could have
in
just
a-
scraped the whole thing off of Popcorn Traders Yahoo Finance.
It's
We
like
could've just
if I
scraped it
gave you a
from one of the
hammer
other-
with no handle, would you use it, or would you use the one I gave you with a handle? I mean,
Oh.
you get what
That
I'm
sounds
saying?
more
use
of
it at
just
all.
like a
Follow my
admonition
This is.
order.
I feel like that's a bad analogy.
Well, okay. If I needed to pound in a nail when I offered you a pipe wrench, would you prefer I offered you a hammer?
Is it like
You'll
a
get the nail in
brad?
there.
Make both
or-
work. I mean, yeah, I guess a hammer would be better.
I'd sure
but
rather do it with the hammer, right?
if it was one nail, if we're talking, how many nails are we talking about?
If you
I-
needed
I'd
to pound the
probably-
nail in with Gherk's forehead versus no.
It's pretty
I
thick.
don't know. I
Forehead.
think it'd be cool because your line game is strong.
Because we
enough.
have
And yeah,
to, we
I
have to
think
mentally
everybody realizes
incapacitate him so we can take over the company.
someday
Yeah.
some beleaguered leftover TOS software engineer is going to get a memo from some chief executive managing co-vice president of initiatives at Schwab that says, explain to me this Windows RTD server and how do we turn it off? And he's going to go, oh, shit, they found out.
See,
And they're
I
gonna make him
mean,
turn it off.
because I'm paranoid, that's why we went with like legitimate data pipelines, because
So you really think that if you just simply observationally note on your chart that from some other, I'm looking at a computer and it says
no,
I'm either-
CME is not going to put us in the coals for displaying, but I don't want to go get it. Where am I going to get it from? That's the
we
problem,
need to be
right?
able
The
to-
only
we have to be
only
able to
real
get it every
source for
second of
that
every
is
day,
from
every
CME.
year.
Every single trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got to get
gotta
that.
be
I've got to go
something
fetch this thing.
somewhere.
Like you can't scrape at scale like that. And then what if the source goes down? Then everyone's just fucked.
There's gotta
Yeah,
be.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's
yeah. What
gotta
if you're
be
what if you're
There's no
brokerage app that you have
and then I
running
got to
just
build a
dies?
Find
redundancy
the value,
scraper.
Put the number in a file somewhere and pull the number out of. the
Why don't you
file.
do this? Why don't you open TradingView
Gotta be a way.
and fucking look at where ESVWAP is?
Windmill. Let me put it this
Because
way.
I want
okay?
one
So-
chart to rule them all.
Yes, we all do, but let me put it in simpler terms, okay? So we pick the data providers we pick, because we want to maximize reliability. When
And even then,
if
we pick multiple versions of them in case one of them goes down.
yeah, we have redundancy layers, right? So like and so when we talk about something like, let's say we wanted to use, let's say, a brokerage app, okay? those brokerages, right? You can imagine, when the day that VIX went undefined, the brokerages just took a giant dump, right?
But Gammastrike
Like
kept working.
we kept working
Yeah.
just fine, but as soon as you're relying on a service that is not just solely dedicated to delivering that data to you. They have so many hats they wear and so many plates they spin that anything, even if it's not remotely related to what we want, has some sort of wide-reaching effect on their service, we're fucked. And so we'd rather go with people whose entire game is that, so that we can hold them accountable
Well,
if something
hold
does get
on.
fucked up.
Dork, when you first started fucking around with Delta Flip and Gamma Flip, you were using what?
Oh, I did.
It
I
was
did
like
that on a brokerage service, but it was ghetto as fuck.
some brokerage service, and it was so terrible. We knew pretty much right away, like, we can never actually sell this to anybody. This is just for us seeing like
Just to
if
see
it's
if it
viable,
exists. Yeah.
what the actual technical challenges are, like very basic prototyping. But it
These
was
are trial
immediately clear to us that we could never actually present this to anybody. So yeah, we have pretty strict requirements, and even then, like, we're always pissed off at our providers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very shitty relationship.
My ultimate goal is to just have my own fiber line at SIBO.
Oh yeah. Well, you'd have two. You'd have redundant fiber lines for
Yeah.
SIBO going
I
across
want-
two different continental plates.
No, just to my lake
goal-
house in northern Chicago.
My ultimate goal
Chicago.
is
That's where you have to be.
is to own Dan Ives and have him communicate all of the trade data to us directly via baseball signals.
Oh man.
Hat chin, ear chin, chin hat chin.
Exactly. In his fucking clown suit that he wears every day.
And the third sign in the third inning we use the fifth sign.
Yes. Yeah. We'll get all that in
You
there.
picked a subject. Now you picked one of my subjects there, brother man.
I could tell by your baseball person on your profile picture. You're a
I
baseball
got-
fan.
You know, this is actually one of the few problems that AI has solved. Is
Which is
figuring
what?
out what the baseball signals are.
Yeah, I know. And
Yeah.
and the ex McKinsey
You're not as
employee
clever as
figured
you
all that
think
out
you
in
are. Yeah.
2017 is now banned from baseball forever.
Yeah. But he's
Figures
still doing
was
it.
an ex McKinsey employee, right? Anyway, all right. So we can't have ES because they'll come and.
No, we can't have ES because it's expensive to get it the way we want it.
I don't mean have ES. I just mean note somehow what ES's VWAP is as compared to SPX's value.
Yeah, well, I mean, once we start doing that, we might as well have ES. So we have to be ready and capable of handling that and have the customer base to support purchasing.
And doing like more than just that, right? We have to do a lot of ES
Okay,
stuff.
you have sufficiently.
CME is one of the more
layers of complication.
egregious.
And I shall hold it
structures.
for future consideration.
Yeah, hold it for future consideration. But ES,
But I
for
do have
CME
one.
is pretty egregious.
I do have one little teeny tiny feature request. A little tick box on the chart to turn off some of the lines for when they all pile
Ooh.
on top of each other and I can't tell which one is which.
On the RTD.
Right. No. On the chart.
Well, there's lots of charts. Which chart? All of them.
The
Time data?
Yeah, exactly. Like there was a point today that like I think one of the gammas and one of the implied moves were piled on top of each other, and I kept stretching it out and rolling it around, going, "What is that under there?"
Oh yeah.
It's like, why don't we just put a little tick box at the top to like turn off implied move, turn off new gamma, turn off delta, turn off.
How many toggle switches do you want? Because there's like 50 lines.
We could.
Just Greeks and implied move, just two.
Oh.
We'll work that up the pipeline, but we are also trying to make these charts more readable. So let us get through that pipeline of
you're still
of
okay.
fixes.
Yeah. We've talked about that ad nauseum.
And then once we get those pipeline of fixes through, we can talk about because I mean you're asking for more user functionality, and obviously we would love it to be infinitely functional for everybody. But that comes with
telling me that net
infinite.
is super useful, and I don't know where I mentioned that in my conversation, but okay, thank you.
No, I'm just saying that I think that, you know, what users
It's a
want
good
is valid.
suggestion, but we have a
Yeah,
lot
it's a
going
good
on right now.
suggestion.
Okay.
But we'll
Well,
put
I
it.
mean,
We'll put it
this
in
is
the. I'll
our
put it in the suggestion box for sure because that's a
this
good
is our normal
suggestion.
relationship. I come and suggest something, and you tell me how massively complicated and overworked you are, and then eventually you
That's
do
not.
it anyway. So I'm
Yeah,
happy.
that's not complicated, but
Yeah.
it is.
No,
It
I
is
mean,
just
I
another
think,
thing,
and
you
that's
know.
why we keep letting you up here.
Could you
Put it
lock
on,
the y-axis on the Greeks page to make it easier to gloss over changes quickly?
On the Greeks pages, what do you mean? The
On
Greeks
this?
page? Lock it? Oh, like make it not auto scale? I'm pretty dang sure you can just stretch the y-axis by dragging on it a little bit, and then it will not auto scale anymore.
Yeah.
Like that? Is that what you're saying?
Are you?
That's kind of the standard for these, and that's one of the things we're doing on RTD2 is getting it into that standard as well, where it auto scales like that. There's just a lot of things on the RTD page, so it's a technological hurdle.
All right. Well, that's all I had to contribute. I don't have any. It was a good day today. It's a good day to be short.
It was just a good day to just watch the fucking
Kind
put
of a good day
sellers
both
get
ways.
absolutely fucked.
I got Nvidia and puts. It was good.
Fuck yeah, dude! Congratulations.
Yeah, we'll get Nuke
right.
to put volume on the rest of the charts at some point. I don't know why it's not there.
Well, oh.
Oh, just like on the candlestick.
Yeah. We just add it.
Yeah, but
It's
then-
not
I
hard.
didn't notice that's not there. Huh.
Well, it's not just adding it. You see that one day implied move way down there at the bottom. That thing's gonna have to be considered. There's some
What are you
thoughts that
talking
have to
about?
happen.
You just put transparent volume bars at the bottom of the chart. It's a different layer.
I know it's a different layer, but then we're talking about the charts getting even more confusing because that IM line is going to bleed through the volume bars, and everyone's going to be like, "What the fuck am I looking at?"
Just like this.
Your mom is a different layer, Dork.
Oh my god,
him.
Jay Fresh.
Like an onion.
Need2 kind of has an interesting point. Is net premium important? Could people just infer it? I don't know.
No.
Well, you want to add those two lines together?
I've started using a volume indicator that looks like this.
If you show me a penis, okay.
What is that?
Some volume indicator on TradingView.
Is it doing like
trying it.
uptick volume?
It's trying to show contract balance. I don't know.
How?
Bought sold? Is that what that
Volume?
is?
Is there fucking contract data in TradingView?
I don't know. I asked them. I got the.
Is that a seasonality chart?
No, it's volume.
Is it though? I think it's uptick, downtick. That's what it looks
I
like.
think-
Yeah,
I
that's what
think
it
it's
looks
like-
like. Yeah.
More downtick than uptick, or more uptick than downtick. I think.
Well, it looks like a stacked bar chart, right?
Right. Yeah. And then like.
And then neutral ticks are the gray.
Exactly. Are the gray.
Yeah.
I'll
That
try to
doesn't.
find
That
that
is. I want you to know. That is fucking meaningless.
Yeah, I know. But
Okay.
the number get absurdly big. Investigate further. You know.
You could just do that with a big volume bar without having it be 3 colors.
Well, sure. I don't know. I kind of like it. You've seen the software products I routinely use. They're 8 times busier than this, so I'm used to this.
If you go back 1 or 2 days, it changes scale. Here, you're talking about this pickle funded. I don't know what he means.
All right, I'm going to jump off, but nice to talk to you. I'll be
You
listening.
too, Willie.
See you all.
Yeah, it's
Thanks,
good to
Willie.
hear from you
I
again.
hope you're
Every time I
enjoying
haven't
the
heard
new
from you
live
in a
data.
while, I'm like, oh shit, we pissed off Willie somehow, and he's
No. I truly am down to 1 service now.
Fuck
That
yeah.
God
Gammastrike
you
wins.
are,
Oh
dude.
fuck. All right,
Woo!
you gotta.
I mean, it helps that all the other ones
like.
like kind of went out of business, but I'm gonna ignore that part.
Or
Yeah.
got more expensive and too
Oh.
complicated.
Greek
Oh,
Spice
shit.
Strike changes scale when you go
Our
down.
whole plan
or
was to get more
like when you do
expensive and
this.
more complicated.
Oh,
Well,
because it auto scales. Yeah, it needs to do that. Otherwise, shit gets real weird.
you just keep raising the price until you have just enough people left to survive.
No,
That's what
you'll
I wanted
keep
to do with
lowering
the pickle
price.
jar. I was just gonna
Keep
raise.
lowering the
I was gonna
price
raise the price of
until we're all
Billionaire
that's left.
$1 a week, but it turns out that that's like difficult to do, so I gave up.
I'm so excited to hear the squeaking of all the sphincters of all the other services when they realize that we're offering something better for cheaper.
It's funny, having been exposed to so many of them, plus in a little quiet private group of people exposed to literally all the rest of them as well, and comparing and contrasting for the last, I don't know, 14 months. All y'all hate all y'all. None of y'all agree with anybody on anything.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus Christ. Celebrity deathmatch gamma platforms.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
that's why
you just
do
have
the
to be
best.
able to determine who actually knows what the fuck they're talking about,
Sure.
which is a lot
Or not.
easier test.
Take a little bit from here, take a little bit from there.
The best
know,
way to know if somebody knows what they're talking about is to see how many years of experience they've had buying coffee for desk managers on Wall Street.
I only have like 3 months of that. I got promoted.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Very little. I feel like the people that have a lot of experience doing that, maybe don't talk to them. If you get stuck picking up coffee at Goldman for 3 years, you've fucked up, but your dad did well.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right, off I go. Have a good night, boys.
Later, man.
Yep, thanks.
And
Thanks, Willie.
I think that's Baby Farms.
Is it Baby Farms
I
time? I
don't
think
see
it is.
Yeah,
I
I
don't see
posted
another
a-
hand
I
anywhere.
I
see
posted a cat.
J-Fresh posting penis things with cats again.
That is a mushroom.
Whatever,
He
man.
specifically said it is a mushroom.
You can try to hide your kinks however you want, but we see them on full display.
It's a mushroom.
Okay. Maybe like that uncle at like the wedding is like that, like, yeah, I just like to touch their
Oh, yeah,
thighs.
you go have fun. I'll watch the kids for
Yeah.
you. It's too soon. Jeffrey Epstein files are being released imminently. We
Yeah,
can't
but you're
keep
not
it
in
up.
them unless you were a victim.
You'll never know because my identity is a secret. Wait, you think I was a Wait, hold on. Should I be offended or you think I'm cute enough to be molested by a billionaire?
You were like a cherubic little redheaded boy. You were probably very chubby in your formative
Yeah,
years.
you
I
were being
was. I
forwarded to
did
the
have
Catholic
full cheeks
priests.
and I had dimples. And when I was about 11 years old, we had an electrician fixing the light switches in our garage, and he told me I had the dimples of a little girl.
A little what?
A little girl.
Oh, wow. What did that do to your
So,
self-esteem for the next 6 years?
It wasn't great, and obviously I've remembered that for my entire life.
I mean,
Think
yeah,
about all
you're
the
bringing
other
it
shit
up
I've
now.
Yeah,
So,
think about all the other shit I've forgotten from when I was 11 years old. But you know what? I'd never thought about this before, but Donald Trump might have fucked me. And
did your parents spend a
That
lot
feels
of time
kinda
at like
nice.
Mar-a-Lago? I mean, I feel like if you ran into Donald Trump, that experience would have been the other way based on his like what happened with Bubba.
Mm.
So you're talking about like I mean that's like
Did you not listen to the George Santos song today?
no.
Oh, I wrote a song for George Santos.
Oh God. You'll have to send that to me later, but
It's amazing.
My dog is gone completely deaf and is losing her mind.
I did.
and
Yeah,
currently thinks
Donald
that
Trump
I'm
used to
dead
come
and
into
wants to be-
the office of the publicist my mom worked for when I was a little kid, and I would always be there because there was no after school program, and he would come in quite frequently, and yell at her boss.
Sorry, my dog is so annoying. She's
Was
completely
it humping
deaf,
you again?
and- No, she thinks that I'm in bed, and so she's barking to go into the bedroom. I'm like, I'm still in my office, so I had to throw stuff at her so she saw where I was.
He
So
didn't
now
say
she-
anything about my dimples.
Now she's humping me.
JFresh doesn't hide his kinks at all. Laughing my ass off. JFresh's identity. Yeah, he doesn't hide that either. But it's okay. Everyone just don't say anything.
No, Epstein wasn't a math teacher. Epstein's dad was a principal, and he was given a job doing that shit for a while. That doesn't make him a math teacher.
How do you feel about my latest conspiracy theory? Epstein was Satoshi Nakamoto.
Wait, who's on top?
What do you mean?
I mean, someone has to be on top, right?
No. Epstein's Satoshi.
You think Epstein is Satoshi?
Yeah,
not like
yeah,
Epstein
no.
hung
I didn't
out
think-
with
I didn't think he
Satoshi.
fucked Satoshi. Or
I
anything.
just don't know that he could pull that off. I mean, it has to. I mean,
He was
he's
like
some
he was
technically
supposedly like
brilliant.
a math genius,
Sure.
like
All
a
the billionaires
prodigy.
are. They're all geniuses.
Are they?
No, which is my
Okay.
point.
Yeah, but he didn't have rich parents, and he became a billionaire, so he must be a genius.
I mean, he did get a bunch of really powerful people in very
Compromising
delicate
positions.
situations. Yeah, which is the genius part of it.
He had
I mean,
an
you could
egg
just take the
penis.
math out of it completely. Ooh, egg
He
on the
did.
top or egg on the bottom?
It was egg bottom, like thick base, thin tip, oval.
Hmm.
According to the court
Mm.
documents, that is.
Oh, the court. Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. I don't know personally.
Was this
A baby
unanimous
farts,
by
huh?
the?
The only
No,
one of
Freddie
the
says-
three of us that was ever a masseuse in Florida was Dork. So
That's true. Yeah, that was a dark time. I don't like to talk about it.
Wait, you have skills that I didn't realize you had. Would you like to come to Texas?
Only if I can stay in your bedroom in a tiny little bed.
How tiny?
I'm
The-
talking like a crib, like a baby crib, but with like the
We
like
can
the.
make that. We can make
uh,
that work. Can it
okay,
be a?
yeah.
Can it be?
hold on, you also
bowling?
have to discipline him as a father would. That's a requirement.
Yeah, I'll make him do chores,
Yeah, okay.
and
All right.
then we'll go swimming in our pool together.
You play
and we'll
catch with
throw,
him like at least
Yeah.
once a month. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually want this bed. I put it in chat. I want to sleep in that.
In the live audio chat. Or
Oh, you want a
something?
car bed? Man, that takes up a lot
Yeah,
of space.
But even smaller. It's like my legs stick out.
That's gonna be. It's a tall ass.
It can be made of cardboard. Okay.
I don't know if we can do that in the same
do you
room,
want
so-
matching shirt and pants pajamas to wear every night?
Oh yeah, and a little stuffy. I want a Labubu to sleep with every night.
You gotta talk to Jay Fresh's wife about that. He's not in control of that.
No,
I might fuck it. I mean,
she
what?
won't even know.
Gonna fuck the Labubu.
She might know when
That's
I'm
it. This stream is over.
it.
Good night.
Bye.
Later. Baby
Night.
farms.